So in the workshop today we've got a Scots pine. This is a tree that I bought in Spain a few years ago, and it's had a little bit of work over the intervening period, probably 7 or 8 years, but nothing really significant. And so today I thought we might get to grips with this and actually make something of it. It was styled perhaps 3 or 4 years ago in a much more upright fashion, much more of a sort of a literati tree, but I wasn't entirely happy with the appearance of it. And so when it was repotted 2 years ago, I took it over the side of the pot a little bit, because what I want to do is make something much more compact with this. You can see this nice curve in the trunk here. Well, this was already naturally here, but this turnbuckle obviously I've used to close this a little bit more, because the foliage was a long way from the trunk and I didn't really feel that it was very well balanced. So progressively this has moved over a little bit, and so today I'm going to actually start to look at how to style this tree and what branches we're going to use, what we're not. It's important in bonsai to take a step when you can, but it's also important not to take a step too soon. And because this tree has had quite a few years to establish, settle itself down, the growth is nice. Like I said, it's nice and compact, it's nice and tight, but the branches are still thin enough that they're nice and flexible. And so today it's we're going to be looking at how to get some style into this tree and certainly hopefully make it look a lot better. So walking you through the salient points of this tree here, we've got a reasonable Yamadori for a Yamadori Scots pine. We've got a nice piece of wood all through here with root. There's all root here just underneath the soil. Nice root here that balances it, and as good as it can. It leaves the soil nicely. The bark is beautiful. It's a little dark at the moment because it's been raining on it for 3 days. And handy piece of dead wood here, used for pulling the trunk. Nice little dog leg. This beautiful curve that comes up and it goes back. And one of the things that was not visible previously was this little dog leg at the top. So if I move that, hopefully you can just about see that. So that's something we like to try and use. We're trying to show, make something of. So it comes up this way, right through. The first branch is this one, which goes all the way down there. We may use that, but I've got a suspicion we're probably not. So then actually after that all we have from there are these two, and there you can see where the tree has been reduced when it was collected. So this piece is quite straight, unfortunately, and at the top we've got 1, 2 fairly big long branches that are carrying a great deal of foliage. And let's see, as you can see, about the thickness of my finger, so we're going to be able to bend these really easily. We'll go carefully. It is the depths of winter and it's been well below freezing for the last week, which probably won't cause any problems, but with so few branches it's never a good idea to break any of them off. Now what I'm hoping to do is pull this upper part of the trunk a little bit more towards the left again. This turnbuckle's already run its distance, but actually the trunk on this is very flexible, and just with my hand I can bend this really very easily. There's not a lot of pressure on there, so that's going to help me to really compact that. And looking at the growth, you can see we've got nice little short twigs with good compact foliage, even back buds, and you can see it's largely all holding itself up, which is important with the Scots pine, because if you wire the branches while they're too thin and spindly, they don't tend to thicken up and then they won't hold themselves up, and as a consequence you'll be wiring the tree for the rest of your life, and nobody wants to be doing that. So for me it's important to see this nice strong thick growth, and hopefully you can see we've got really good buds in here. This tree is absolutely fighting fit, it's 100%. Beautiful small needles, nice and compact all the way through. And like I say, it's largely self-supporting. Most of it's facing upwards, just with the obvious exception of this crazy long branch. So first job is a tourniquet here we're going to use to bend the top of this trunk, and so I'm just popping a screw into this piece of deadwood. I like to use stainless steel screws, and then when you take them out, they come out nice and easily. Where this little stub is at the top, where this tree was reduced, I've cut a little groove, so that will hold that wire securely, because I don't want to tighten it and then have it pulled down and apply pressure to these branches and start to restrict the sap flow. So here we're just pulling off the deadwood, and we're using this screw and we're pulling back onto deadwood. So all we do, that's a continuous loop, and just pull that, twist those ends together with our pliers, and we just give that a gentle pull and then twist. You don't twist the wire to pull it, you pull and then you take the slack out of the wire by twisting it, and then that way, as the tension on the wire begins to increase, the wire won't break. Whereas if you just pull and twist the wire, eventually right where that wire twists, it will break off. So already you can see the turnbuckle that was on here has already come loose, so we can just pop that, take that off, lose that piece of wire, and now all of the tension for this bend is just over here. So if I give that a little turn, so we can just pull, twist, and pull, twist. And so that's applied a little extra pressure, and that's closed that up a little more, and what that's doing is bringing this piece, this nice little dog leg, and this piece carrying the branches much more into the overall sort of compact silhouette that I'm looking for this tree. So I'm probably as far with that bend as I need to go. As you can see, this has come over considerably, and there you can see the wire hang on to the little dead stump. Drops down through past the branches and onto this little screw. You can look up there, you can see we've got a nice straight line, which means that the pull will always be very successful. And so now you can see all the twists and curves in this tree have all come nicely together in a little window, which is going to set up the movement and the energy for the rest of this tree and how we're going to rearrange and settle up these branches. When you're working with Yamadori, you have to use what's in front of you. Not everything is always just so. It's a little unfortunate we've got this length here, because that's really going to limit how compact I can make this tree. It would be much better if these branches came from this point, but they don't. And so we've got to work around that. So it's knowing the difference between what you can change and what you can't. The things you can't change, you need to learn to work with and work around. So having pulled the top over, the next thing to look at is this long branch, and I kind of figure you know what's going to happen with this. But this X is right in the front, it's fairly thick, and while it's bendable, for the design of this tree there's just going to be too much of it, and we can set this anywhere we kind of want it, but it's really ugly the way that it emanates from the trunk, and this length I'm just not really happy with it. So we're going to just get rid of that, gin this, and hopefully straight away you can see this opens up this lovely piece of trunk. We can see the bark on it. There's a lot of character in the trunk of this tree, and we want to show as much of that as we can, and so I think that's that one's best gone. Too late to worry about it now. So the next job on this pine before I begin the wiring is to clean the foliage. Scots pines typically keep 3 years worth of needles, which you can see hopefully on this shoot. We've got we've got the third year here, second, and the first year is right at the tip. Now it's normal for, and I know a lot of people will strip a Scots pine back to 1 year's growth, so in this case last season's growth, but because I want this tree to grow, the more foliage I remove, the less sap flow there is. So all I'm going to do is remove the third year needle that's not dropped on this tree. Because it's so vigorous, it isn't dropping as quickly as it might have done. And so we start from the back, the bud being here. We start at the back and we take this third year needles, making sure there's no buds in there, of course. And just take a very few of the second year needles, and then that is clean enough and ready to wire. And we'll go through this whole tree and remove all of the third year needles. But what that does is give us lots of, initially it cleans out the growth, because where we've got a piece like this, it's very congested, and getting wire in there, it's going to be difficult and messy. So we clean the forks out, just take in those third year and a few of the second year needles, and now you can see again this is nice and clean, very easy to wire, but it's also enough foliage to flow lots of sap, and the more sap we flow, the quicker these branches will thicken and the quicker they'll stay in position. So when we're talking about an initial styling, I always like to leave 2 years worth of needles, because like I say, it does draw so much more sap once the new growth starts in spring. So I shan't bore you with all of this, but just so you know, that's what I'm doing next. As soon as that's done, I'll get some wire on it.